Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Paige. I make videos on lifestyle, vlogs, random things that I find fun. I'm in a new filming location because I'm trying to find areas that look good on camera. Right now I'm in my bedroom, which is why it is a nice bright green because I painted it when I was 12, so it is a blue and green. But I'm trying to find some filming locations, so we're still trying it out. Today I'm going to be making a video on here's what you need to know when you're applying to Costco. So for those of you who don't know, I've been a Costco employee for the last 3 years now. I started in August of 2018, so that was the summer going into my first year of university, and I've done the CSRP program, which is for students. So I think it stands for like college student regular part-time or something like that. It's for university or college students, post-secondary students who are looking to work during the summer and then also to work during the winter break. I was thinking that I was going to be doing some advice for people who are thinking of applying to Costco. I would recommend doing it. I think it was a really good job for me. It taught me a lot about customer service skills, a lot about working in retail with management and with employees. And since Costco is such a big warehouse atmosphere, it taught me how to work with a bunch of different sectors and then also a bunch of different people. So I thought it was a really valuable job. It helped me work on my own public speaking and even personal engagement, and also just organization skills as well. So I've made some notes here just about how I applied to Costco and then some questions as well that they might ask you in the interview that I find helped me prepare. When I was applying to Costco, I think I had gone in like the week before I applied and asked them like, oh, are you guys hiring? Like, are there any positions available? And the girl who was working the till was like, honestly, all of it's online. You drop your resume online and then that's how they pick you. So I was like, okay. So I decided to go online. What you do is you go on like the Costco website and you apply to a bunch of different Costco's in your area. So I think I might have applied to maybe 2 or 3. I had like a number 1 and then I had a number 2 as almost a backup, but either one was fine for me to get because they're both equal distance from my house. So I had applied online and then they give you a series of questions. I think there are like 250 word questions. I can't remember exactly because this was back in 2018, so things might have changed since then. But I think they were, like 250 word questions that were just either about you, I think your volunteer experience, your working experience, and then I think like why you wanted to work at Costco. And then you uploaded your resume, so you gave them your phone number, your email, how they could reach you. And then I think it just said like, okay, we'll get back to you if you're successful. So I applied and I hadn't heard back, but I wasn't really like awaiting it. I was just kind of like, if I get it, great. If I don't get it, that's fine too. I was working as a soccer coach at the time, so I had a job. It wasn't as many hours as Costco, but it was still a job, so I wasn't super worried or anything like that. I got a call, I think it was about a week or 2 afterwards, and it was the supervisor, one of the front-end supervisors. She had called me and said, you know, we want you to come in for an interview. Are you available either one of these dates? I said I was available this date, and then we scheduled the interview. Preparing for the interview, I hadn't really done any sort of an interview like that because previously I just worked as a soccer coach, so you didn't really need to do an interview for that. So I hadn't really done a professional interview before, so I was looking up some questions that were common in interviews and then also some questions that were common in Costco interviews. I wrote down here some questions that I thought were good. I think some of them they asked me and some that they asked other people. A lot of times they ask you about your skills and qualifications for the job. So for each department, and maybe this is a little disclaimer, for each department it's different. So I was applying for a front-end cashier, cashier's assistant. So they have a different skill set than say like the meat department or morning merch, night merch. So depending on what department you're applying for, I would look at the skills and qualifications that they ask. But so I had known the skills and qualifications of a front-end cashier. Most of it was like, you know, good interpersonal skills, handling money, working quickly. So they had asked about some of the skills. I think something like, you know, what skills are beneficial for this job, something like that. So I would just have those ready, just know sort of the outline of the job, what the job entails. One of the questions that they asked was reflecting on my past experience, so as volunteering or as working. So reflecting on that and how that has kind of prepared me for this job now. So again, I talked about the interpersonal skills that I learned when, being a soccer coach. I learned about the responsibility, time management, organization, all those kind of key skills that interlap. One of the questions they asked me, which I had looked up before, was, tell us about some success stories, but then also tell us about a time where you were not so successful. So for me, it was, tell us about a time where you've had issue with a coworker and how you dealt with it. And so that question I was like kind of prepared for, kind of not prepared for, because again, working as a soccer coach, you don't really work that closely with other people besides like the kiddos. So I wasn't really prepared for that question, but I remember talking about like, I've actually never had an experience like that, but if I were in this situation, this is what I would do, which they really liked. People who interviewed me, they were really good bosses of mine. I liked them. I got along with them really well. And so they were very easy to talk to. I found making it conversational was a lot easier than, being very like proper interview style. So I think that was something that they were looking for, someone who was like conversational, easy to talk to, and could get the job done. Another question that I personally didn't have, but I thought was really good was, if you're working on a high priority task and a customer approaches you looking for help, what do you do? So this one, again, going back to that customer service. So this could even be if you're doing like merch or deli or any other jobs in the warehouse, because if you're working at Costco, you kind of do a million jobs at once. Like you're running to get something, sometimes people will be asking you things in the aisle if you're looking for things, or doing returns, something like that. This one, they're looking to see like, what are your customer service skills? So how are you going to assist the customer? How are you going to make sure that the customer comes first? In Costco, we call them members because they do have a membership, since it is a paying club technically. So, since they are members, they're paying to be here, paying to shop here, we're to give them the best experience possible. And we're there to, serve them to the best of our abilities. So questions like that, I'd say, focus on, okay, the customer comes first. This is how I would help the customer. I would put aside what I'm doing and I would assist them with whatever they need. So another good question, which I also didn't have, but I think is really important for Costco. When there's a lull in your day, what do you do? So, if you've been to Costco, there rarely is lulls in your day, but once you've been working there for a while, you do realize that there's high times and low times. So specifically, I'd say, when opening, it's really, really busy. Everyone's coming in. Usually at about like 10, it kind of hits a lull. Lunchtime, it gets really busy again, kind of calms down around 2, and then right before dinner and right before closing, that's when it starts to get really busy. So again, very few times do you have lulls in your days, and some days are different than others, but I'd say when there is one, always look busy. Always, be cleaning the till, putting go backs in the go back area, asking, does anyone else need me to put their go backs on other tills, helping pack if someone doesn't have a packer. Or if it's just really super dead, you can go to who's ever in charge of the board, who's ever delegating tasks, and say, hey, I don't have anything to do right now. Is there anything you need me to do? They've told us, always look busy. Never look like you're like leaning and just passing time, because that gives off a really bad image. So always be busy, look for the opportunity to help other people or look to be engaging in some other work. And then this was another really good question that, again, I had something kind of similar, but not exactly. Tell me about a time on the job that now looking back, you wish you'd handle your customer service responsibilities better. What would you do differently this time? So, I'd say be honest about what you did wrong. Say, I didn't handle the situation correctly because of X, Y, Z. Next time, what I would do is correct these by doing this, this, and this. And by that, they see, okay, you have a realization of this was a learning experience, and now you're going to be learning differently from this. And while I was doing some research for this video, I found a list of other really good Costco questions that they might ask. I will link the article down below because that's where I got most of my ideas from. These are also really good ideas just to have, like, they might ask you a different array of questions. They kind of pick and choose from these questions, and I think they asked maybe about 5 or 6, but just being prepared and even having some more to draw from. Some really good ones are, why do you want to work at Costco? Obviously, because this is going to be the place that you're working, so why do you want to work there? You obviously have to have a reason. It can't just be like, oh, I want to work here because I want to get money. It's like, no, you want to work here for some experience, to learn, because Costco is amazing and offers really good positions for students or something like that. This was a question that they asked me at my interview was, what do you know about Costco? So, you know, what do you know about where Costco has come from, you know, when they were the Price Club and how they've become Costco Wholesale, you know, that they're an international company, that they have almost 300,000 employees, just very basic research that you can do a quick Google search on, like 5 facts about Costco. And just having that to draw on that shows that you're interested in this position, that you know a little bit about it, and that you do want to work there. You've got the drive to work there. This was another question that they asked me. Can you tell me about a time where you demonstrated leadership on the job? So in Costco, they're always looking to promote people. So it is based on a seniority system. So anyone can apply to the positions, but it's the person who has most seniority who will get it. So if you're a cashier assistant, you know, upgrading to a cashier, person who has most seniority will be upgraded to a cashier, but eventually that time will come for you. And then from there, you can go on to be a supervisor. So a front-end supervisor. You can go to different departments, get trained there. You can become a manager. Here are some other really good ones that I'm just going to be spitfiring. Describe a time when you had to work closely with a team to complete a project. This one I found was really good, especially with volunteering, discussing how volunteering had helped me work with a team and work with other people that I hadn't worked with before. How do you respond to constructive criticism? That is something that you'll learn in Costco and really any other customer service job, that you're always going to be getting criticism, whether it's from customers, members. If you're in food, it might be, you know, people who are going to the restaurant, or even superiors too. You're always going to be getting criticism, and it is constructive. Like, sometimes you'll receive some criticism that's not so constructive, but a lot of times for, you know, your managers and supervisors, it's like, we want you to be the best, we want you to be able to develop. So here's some criticism that we've learned through our time. And I'd say don't take any of it to heart, because it's just business. It's just, they're trying to help you out, they're trying to make the business run smoother, so don't take any of it to heart. I know it's hard in the moment and you kind of want to cry and run, and sometimes it's like, take a deep breath, take 5 minutes, and then come back to it and you'll be okay. Another one, what's your definition of great customer service? Again, I've been talking a lot about customer service. I think Costco's, one of their main goals is to have positive customer service. That's why with returns, it's always, you can return whatever you want no matter how long it's been, because it's about customer service, pleasing the customer so that they come back. Here's another really good one that I think is super helpful, again, especially for customer service, not just Costco, but in my experience, it has been really helpful. If a customer becomes hostile, what do you do and how do you handle it? This is something that is so important. You know, how are you going to handle things in times of stress? Because there's going to be so many stressors, so much going on around you. You know, how are you going to make it so that the customer doesn't come away feeling really crappy and really angry? And what are you going to do to protect yourself even? I'd say in this situation, you know, I try and handle it to the best of my ability, see what I can do to help the customer. But if it ends up getting out of hand, I'm going to call my supervisor over and ask to talk to them, because they'll know how to handle the situation better than I will. So they're the person that I go to if anything goes wrong. And from there, they can decide, okay, we're going to bring it to a manager, we're going to bring it to, you know, higher up, or I can handle it right now. So that one is definitely something that comes up in Costco quite a bit, and that I've had to deal with, where it's like, you know, I've tried to deal with this to the best of my ability. I'm going to call over my supervisor and they're going to be able to deal with it better. Name one trait that you bring to the table that you think will be the biggest benefit to the team. This is one where you talk about what are the traits that you've picked up through working, through volunteering, or just through life in general. So saying, you know, I have a positive attitude. I am great at learning and I love to learn new skills. I am super friendly and great at customer service. Any one of the skills that you have, that is something that they're looking for. So, you know, not being cocky to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm good at this, this, and this, and this, but saying, you know, this is something that I've learned from X. This will help the team because Y. And they'll say, oh, you're a good fit in this team because blah, blah, blah. You're a good fit to work with this person because blah, blah, blah. So again, something that they're looking for when even working in higher management too. Like, I can see this person moving up in the company, or I can see this person working in bakery or deli. They're always looking for opportunities for you. This was one that I got that was a question I don't think I was super prepared for. Describe a time when attention to detail was critical. How did you make sure that you remained focused and accurate? If you know me, I'm someone who's not super attentive to detail. I definitely struggle with it. I think I'm working on it, but I'm more of a big picture more than a very like critical, minute kind of person. So with this one, you kind of got to think about how do you fit well into this, saying, you know, in my experience, attention to detail is important because, you know, I play a role in this, or I developed this because these are my skills that help with attention to detail, or, you know, whatever it can be. This question definitely was not an easy answer for me. So I'd say, you know, fit this as you will with your personality. Like, how does your personality work with attention to detail? How will this be applicable to the job? So anything like that. This is one, I didn't have this question, but this is so important because it comes up way more than you think. What would you do if a customer didn't have a membership card when they were checking out? So again, you'd think this is a membership only club, only members can get in, but sometimes things sneak through the cracks. People will come in with a group of people, and the people at the front door will think they're in a big group, flash the membership card, they're in. But when they check out, they don't have a membership card. So for me, what I do is I call over the supervisor and say, you know, this person doesn't have a membership card. Is there anything that you could do? Usually I'll call over the marketing person saying, hey, is there any way you could get this person a membership card because they don't have one, but they still want to shop here? Usually marketing is really good with selling membership, saying, hey, you know, how much do you spend a year? Let's get you a membership card. Let's try it out for a year. If you don't like it, it's cash back. So people like that because it's like, oh, let me try this out. Let me see how I like it. Let's see where it goes. If a person is a member and doesn't have a membership card with them, what they can do is they go to the membership desk. I think they pull out their driver's license or a piece of ID just saying who they are. They tell them, you know, their name, birth date, and address, and you're able to get a temporary membership card. So sometimes it'll be as simple as writing down the membership card number, or sometimes it will be an actual temporary membership card number. And if all fails, where you're at the checkout, they haven't got to get their membership card at the membership desk, the supervisor can come over, take them to the side, and are able to look up their membership number there, again with a piece of ID and their birth date and name, and then they can check them out at the side. So I'd say anytime something goes wrong at Costco, the supervisor is your best bet because they know how to do things, they know how to handle the till, they know how to handle the customers. Anytime anything would happen, I just go supervisor, and the supervisor would come over and help. So that's probably my best tip of advice. Anything goes wrong or you're unsure, call over the supervisor. So I'd say at the end of the interview, you know, when they've asked all their questions, they will probably ask, you know, do you have any questions for us? This is something that is pretty common in all interviews, not just Costco interviews, but it's good to see that, you know, you've been attentively listening, or you're really interested in having this position and these are some questions you have. At the time that I was applying, I was, again, in summer going into my first year. So I asked, you know, what are the hours like? What are the hours like for students? I also asked, what are some of the main responsibilities that we'll have? Some other good ones, I would say, how do you measure success in this role? What can the new hire do to exceed your expectations? And what makes Costco an employer of choice in your eyes? So why do you love Costco? I remember asking something similar to this, you know, like, why did you choose Costco? Why do you like Costco? And it gets you to know them a little bit too, you know, is this somewhere that you want to work? Are these bosses that you want to have? Is this a place that people who have been here for a number of years, who are higher up in the organization, still like, and that you could see yourself doing too? So I'd say that the Costco interview definitely can seem very nerve-wracking. I think I was nervous when I was first applying and doing the interview, but if you go about it in a conversational and easygoing way, showing that you've looked into Costco as a whole and that you're prepared for the interview, then you'll be golden. Things will be going great for you. I'd say just approach it as this is a professional interview, but you're interested in being a part of this company and that you'd love to grow and learn with them. So guys, that is all that I have for this video. I hope this video helped you when preparing for your Costco interview. If you're going for a Costco interview now, good luck. I hope it goes great. If you're thinking of applying, I'd say definitely do it. It has been such a good experience for me. I've learned so much and grown so much over my years at Costco. And the people that I worked with are some of the coolest, nicest people who have great stories as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other recommendations for videos or questions about Costco, leave them down in the comment section below. Like this video, and if you're interested in more Costco content, I do have other videos on my channel of what it was like working at Costco during the pandemic, you know, reacting to some Costco myths, you know, a true or false kind of thing. So I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!